The NBA has announced that it's back after stopping the season due to the coronavirus pandemic. While it might feel more like Summer League than the regular season, I'm sure everyone's busting at the seams in anticipation for some real live basketball to watch. So, let's catch up with the Western Conference to remind ourselves where each team left off when the season was cut short back in March. It's time to figure out who benefited the most from the time off and whether that gets them to a title. Let's quickly go over why the remaining schedule is so much different than normal. First off, no fans allowed. Will that affect the energy levels of the players? Probably, but it also allows coaches to exert more influence, since their voices are now easily heard on both ends. Only 22 teams are returning to Orlando to play at Walt Disney World on 3 courts. They'll play 8 regular season games, and the top 7 in each conference make the playoffs. If the 8th seed is 4 games up on the 9th seed, there is no play-in, but if not, they'll play a 2-game series where the 9th seed would have to win both to make it in. At the top of the conference is the Lakers, with the tandem of LeBron and AD too much for everyone else. With the second highest net rating in the league and a lot of extra rest for the elder James and the often banged up Davis, they should get right back to the symbiotic relationship that is the main reason LeBron is leading the league in assists. Oh yeah, he can also score pretty well too. So if you pick the Lakers to win the whole thing, you should feel pretty good about it, except I'm not sure they're deep enough for the ultimate prize. One way to keep the defenses occupied against LeBron and AD is by having them spaced high-low, and LeBron has shown a special awareness of where and how to find Davis for easy buckets. Keep your eye out for this set, as LeBron UCLA cuts off the Davis elbow screen, but then stops and sets the rip screen for AD. This flows right into the high pick and roll, but it's a diversion for the real action. Bradley cross-screening for Davis in the lane. This type of deep post catch is almost a surefire bucket, and they run this at least once a game. Here it is again, and watch how Davis's man is forced to trail here and then gets hit with a blind screen. If the defense switches, it's a small defending AD in the post. If not, AD is wide open on the catch. This LeBron to AD connection isn't always perfect. In fact, it could look clunky sometimes, which reminds me of the wallet I used to use. For years, I was like George Costanza, carrying around every conceivable card and piece of paper imaginable, and I could barely get it in my pocket. Since I've switched to Ridge, I actually carry less cards around. Who even needs cash anymore? And my life has become so much simpler, I'm splashing shots from downtown all because I've got Ridge in my life. With over 30 colors and styles, you can choose one of these and never have to worry about those old bulky wallets that don't fit into any pocket. It can hold up to 12 cards plus room for cash, and I absolutely love it and how it simplified my entire existence. Father's Day is coming up. This is the gift to give him, and with my code BBALL, you'll save 10% and make your pops a happy guy. Do me a favor and click on the link below. Check them out and find out why they've got over 30,000 5-star reviews. Which is exactly how I'd review the number 2 seed in the West, the LA Clippers, who are my favorite to win it all. Make no mistake, this layoff helps them as much as any other team. Kawhi is permanently nursing a bad leg, Paul George had more time to heal his ailing shoulders, and they'll have a bit of a training camp to further integrate Marcus Morris, even though their new starting lineup was already killing teams in the 8 games they were together. The key for the Clippers is how deep they are. Adding Reggie Jackson too yielded this 5-man lineup, which has been unstoppable on both sides of the ball. But the real key is that they've got elite defenders for LeBron in both Kawhi and PG. Combined with their depth, I think that makes the difference. A real key in their offense is getting Paul George and Kawhi Leonard connecting with each other for scores. Here, they have PG use some pistol action to turn into the middle of the floor, and when Zubats rolls, it forces Kawhi's man to bump down, opening up the easy 3-ball. On this handoff from Leonard to George, watch how both defenders step to Kawhi first, opening up the drive and extended step for the PG layup. When talking about the Denver Nuggets, 2 words come to mind: Skinny Jokic. If you haven't seen, it looks like he lost 30 pounds and is almost unrecognizable. We have no idea what this means for him on the court, but there has been evidence he'd get tired at the end of intense playoff games playing heavy minutes. He shot a mere 18.8% in the clutch in the playoffs last year. So this could be a step to remedy that and make him an even better defender? They've got a lot of talent, particularly on the offensive end, but still haven't solved the Michael Porter Jr. minutes issue. He clearly needs more of them, but Mike Malone has his hands full juggling lineups. One thing to be concerned with is their starting five is only posting a plus 7.7 net rating. Very low for a team ranked third in the West. I've always felt the key to a good offense is getting your top two players involved in the action together, like this Jamal Murray pin down for Jokic. When both defenders collapse, it leaves Murray wide open for three. Not enough teams do this, perhaps because they think they should balance the floor with their best offensive players, but you can see here, and with the Clippers, how well it works. The Utah Jazz are dealing with losing Bojan Bogdanovic for the rest of the season, but it's not all that bad since they can insert Joe Ingles back in the starting lineup. That also means relying on one of my favorite players, Royce O'Neal, who showed real poise and the ability to be an X-factor on both sides of the ball. Of course, will Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert figure out how to coexist peacefully on the court if they can't do it off? Plus, any team with title aspirations that relies so heavily on Gobert might be doomed to come up empty as teams pull him away from the rim and expose one of their few defensive weaknesses. The Jazz haven't been ranked out of the top 10 in defensive ratings since 2014-15, but their 11th ranked defense this year might make them look at moving Gobert and going with someone who could be more effective on the offensive end. As teams put a shooter at the 5, it's remarkable how many three-point shots they give up in the pick and roll when Gobert can't get out to contest in time. The Oklahoma City Thunder have been written off once Russ left for Houston, but they haven't missed a beat. In fact, they're one game ahead of their pace from last year, primarily because the three-guard lineup of Chris Paul, Dennis Schroeder, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been incredible. Teams simply haven't been able to match up with so much playmaking on the floor, and you throw Steven Adams in there to anchor the defense, and they've got a lot to bring to the table. Watch for them to easily get to the second round. Chris Paul is one of the best in the league at creating good looks from three, and they run this great set to let him control the action and find the open shooter. It starts with a pass to the top, then a quick handoff right back to Paul. A ball screen here makes his man trail even farther back, and the weak side corner defender must rotate down to stop the roll man. Gorgeous side pass by CP3 hits the shooter in the numbers for the easy triple. This can also be for the player handing off, as Gallinari flares to the left wing, gets an opening before stepping back into the three ball. That brings us to the Rockets, where all this extra time off apparently has made us Skinny Harden, and he won't have the slog of an 82-game schedule to leave him completely exhausted for the playoffs. They redefined small ball by bringing in Robert Covington to replace Clint Capella, and while the record wasn't stellar at 8-6, with more time to practice before we pick up again, and Mike D'Antoni committing to a 9-man rotation, look for them to play traditional big men right off the court. That said, the last 5 games before the season was interrupted were a real problem for the Covington at center lineups. They couldn't score well, nor could it defend the basket, and Rockets fans better hope it wasn't the NBA simply figuring out how to attack small ball. If it has, then expect a first-round exit. The Dallas Mavericks won't benefit from the extra rest because Dwight Powell and Jalen Brunson won't be back. While their stats weren't overwhelming, they were important pieces on a well-balanced team that featured the MVP play of Luka Doncic and the unicorn that is Kristaps Porzingis. More time allows Doncic and KP to gel in more practices, so expect these two to be an even more difficult 1-2 punch for teams to handle. The key to the Doncic-Porzingis pairing is the high pick and roll, and KP gets unlocked by the vision and willing passing by Luka, who has been able to find him in equal parts popping out to the three-point line and rolling to the hoop. The quicker they get into this action, the better shots these plays generate. Will they be able to compete with more Maxi Kleber and adding Willie Cauley-Stein? Maybe, but look for next year when they become truly dangerous. Another team that benefits from the hiatus is the Memphis Grizzlies, as Jaren Jackson Jr. will return from a knee injury, giving us a glimpse into the future of the NBA as Ja Morant will undoubtedly become an all-star and pair with Jackson, who is an elite three-point shooting center. One good play the Grizzlies run to get Jackson Jr. open from 3 is a horn set where he'll set the ball screen, then flare to the weak side wing. His man is worried about the ball handler in the pick and roll, and the flare screener can occupy whichever defender tries to close out, leaving him with an open shot. Dillon Brooks is on my favorite players list, and they'll make a little noise, but they've got to bring it from day one to maintain their 3-game lead, or else one of 3 teams below them will prevent them from getting into the playoffs. The Trailblazers benefit the most from the layoff. Not only do they get Zach Collins back from the injury list, but one of their key starters in Jusuf Nurkic. Add that to Hassan Whiteside, and suddenly they've got a deep front court to go alongside one of the best backcourts in the league in Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. In their 3 best lineups from last year, Nurkic was the anchor in the middle and a double-double machine. A midseason trade that swapped out Trevor Ariza for Kent Bazemore should also give them a boost. And I feel like this is the team that can make a move for that 8th spot and squeak into the playoffs, where all bets are off, as Ariza can offer some resistance to LeBron, and their big guys can make life a little difficult for Anthony Davis on both sides of the ball. Watch for this set the Blazers have been running for years, involving Damian McCollum as his quick handoff flows into a flare screen that either gets CJ an open look from 3, or if his man gets around the screen but is trailing on an angle, he can get all the way to the hoop before the defense can rotate over. The New Orleans Pelicans might be the most feared of any team in the bottom half of the bracket. Since Zion came back and got off a minutes restriction, the Pellies have the 7th highest net rating, and they've got a little bit of everything. The only issue they have is youth and inexperience, but look for this team to be one of the most fun to watch and my dark horse to get into the playoffs. I had predicted Zion could lead the league in scoring in his rookie year, and while that was a little bit of hyperbole, let's just look at how easy his baskets come. In Alvin Gentry's offense, quick ball movement is encouraged, and with so many willing passers and shooters that can spread the floor, Zion doesn't have to do too much except hover around the basket and patiently wait till the defense gets so pulled out of position that he gets this wide open dunk. Lonzo Ball is the absolute perfect teammate for him, since he's been throwing 75-foot low post entry passes since high school, taking advantage of Zion's speed to command position in the paint early, where their defense can't recover in time to stop this drop step bucket. And he's got this jab step attack that pushes the boundaries of being legal and makes it almost impossible to stop him if he catches it that close to the hoop. The last team we'll look at today is the Sacramento Kings, and there's no telling what could happen with this team, to be honest. They've got a lot of talent, not enough minutes for everybody, plus one of the best 3-guard groupings in the league with De'Aaron Fox, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and Buddy Hield. They just don't seem to have enough juice to present a threat, plus their offensive and defensive ratings put them below average. Until Luke Walton and Vlade Divac can figure out the proper chemistry, look for them to hang around the bottom of the bracket. So there you have it, sports fans. Look for a rejuvenated James Harden and Nikola Jokic, beware of the newly healthy Trailblazers, keep your eye on the Pelicans, all the while expecting a Lakers-Clippers conference finals that should be epic despite no fans in the seats. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to B-Ball Breakdown so you can get alerted right away when we drop a new video. This season will be filled with incredible content, so don't miss it. You in?